The Ghost of Crow Cavern by John Wedlake and Norman Mounter. Prologue. Many moons ago. It was a balmy midsummer's eve on an island far away up north. As the glowing embers of the dying sun sank into the western seas, the darkening sky became awash with stars. The island was soon enveloped in the watery purple haze of sequined silk, partly illuminated by a blood moon. The sea was a perfect calm, like mirrored glass, reflecting a kaleidoscope of aquamarines. Upon the beach stood the solitary figure of a squirrel. Young Normsk was on the lookout for the fabled firefish, whose luminous orange form was known to visit the waters of Nuts Haven at this time of year. Scampering quietly up the most ragged part of the shoreline, the squirrel began to hear a faint scratching sound within the confines of a glittering rock pool. As he moved closer to investigate the source, the outline of a wooden box came into view. It was being attacked by several crabs who were frantically attempting to prise it open with their powerful claws. Normsk twitched with excitement. It was one of those curious twitches he got when stumbling upon a huge stash of buried cobnuts. Without further ado, the excited squirrel plunged into the water and swam eagerly towards the object. Deftly flipping himself onto his back, he then proceeded to kick away the bewildered crabs before guiding the box towards a shallow pool edge with his front paws. Once he had dragged it onto dry land, Normsk shook himself dry before inspecting the box more closely. His wide black eyes were instantly drawn to a bold stamp of black letters upon the scratched and battered lid. Wiping away the sand and seaweed, Normsk read out aloud, "Property of C. Shadowtail, Intelligence Division, Grey Empire." With nose now twitching furiously, Normsk forced open the lid. The underside bore an elegantly inscribed tarnished silver plaque, which read, "To our dearest Cornelius, we hope this birthday gift will give you many hours of pleasure. Remember to keep your king safe at all times. All our love, Mother and Father." As he peered into the box to examine its contents, the bewildered squirrel found a damp checkerboard of 64 squares. Beneath this was an elegant mahogany casket lined in finest red satin. Inside were a small piece of parchment and 32 ornately carved figurines, 16 red and 16 grey. Normsk froze and momentarily lost his breath. Everything he thought he knew about the world had suddenly shattered like glass on stone. Many moons later. "I don't like this at all," mumbled Normsk to Cheswick Redbrush as they both stood staring out to sea. "Maybe they're just travelling through and trying to understand the world a bit better," said Cheswick, forever the optimist, but with a voice alluding to hope rather than conviction. "Don't be raw, boy," snapped the old-timer. "There's only one desire on their part, and that is to utterly destroy us and take over our tree holes. The nightmare is nigh." But great-grandpa," stammered Cheswick, "you don't know this for sure. How could you?" "These are things that the ancient spirits have whispered to me," replied Normsk. "They warned me of a great grey shadow coming for us, a brooding menace that none have yet to experience in this age of the world. They prophesied that the peril would come from across the oceans and rain down such calamity that death will be a happy escape." "And you think that these seafaring travellers will bring this misfortune upon us?" gulped Cheswick. "I do not think it, I know it," Normst cried. It's as clear to me as the fluff on your face." "So, what can we possibly do?" asked the young squirrel, twitching anxiously. "Draw near and listen very carefully," whispered the ancient